Today I got one of my favorite YouTubers and one of the brightest minds in the YouTube space when it comes to branding and marketing and strategy. Brandman Sean, don't you go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing? My name is Ruslan with KingsDreamENT.com. This channel exists to encourage, empower, inspire you to live out God's dream. I'm here in Atlanta pumping out a bunch of interviews, and I got a chance to connect with one of my favorite YouTubers, someone that I actually get a lot of value from, and I'm a regular watcher of his show. One of the leading brand and marketing strategists in this music thing. Brandman Sean, how you doing, bro?
What's up, man? I appreciate you having me, dog. This is cool.
Bro, I appreciate you having me on your channel about a year ago.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah.
People still hit me up from that video.
Really?
And stumbled across my channel, man.
That's dope,
man.
I
was like, yo, Brandman Sean reached out to me. This is crazy. So that was really dope. I think I stumbled across your stuff probably through like a suggested view of like Curtis King videos or something like that.
Dope.
I'm glad to have you on here. We got to send a shout out to our studio audience. We got my man Mowgli the Iceberg, DJ Mike LV, and Paul Russell at my man Ahmad AJ Studio. But let's get into it, man. Brandman Network.
Yes, sir.
Live in full effect.
Yes, sir.
Scaling how you add value and consulting to artists.
Right.
Talk about that.
Man, so just from a overview point, Brandman Network is a space where artists are able to increase their branding, right? We're helping them develop their brand, and we're helping them build custom marketing strategies for themselves to actually scale their own fan base, right? Those are the two areas to focus. That's my expertise, and there's so many nuances to that. I want to help artists build their custom systems because it's not just one answer. We all know it's a fact there's not one way of blowing up, and I already remind people that it takes more than that. So my mission really is to close the information and opportunity divide that artists face.
It seems like your YouTube videos, which I find extremely valuable, are kind of like 30,000 feet in the air, macro concepts, right? What a brand is, when a brand is congruent or incongruent, right? All these different things. And you're saying, hey, it's not in my best interest or in the people's best interest to just do macro content and also to do consulting, because you can make great money doing consulting.
100%.
And you're saying, hey, I'm going to scale this and we're going to create a membership so that I could actually customize the advice and keep it as an ongoing mentorship type relationship. I'm kind of following correctly?
Yes, that's perfect, man. I like to think of it as, especially for artists who are starting off, right? We want to be the sixth man of your team, right? And I know some people don't even have 1 through 5, but we want to be that ongoing relationship because there's a few problems that I faced trying to help artists. I didn't know that I would be able to tap into so many artists through YouTube. I didn't plan to do it and help them that way. I was cool just doing the work I was doing with the people I was doing, but the problems that I started to face when I started to open up for consultations for just any random artist is there's only so much value that you can add within an hour's consultation.
That's a fact.
Even if you do it with a project. But I would have an instance where you might pay me $100 for a consultation, and then 2 days later, literally one artist, he got hit up by Sprite, and then his circumstances are different. He needs help with that as well. So your life is always changing, and it's especially unstable as an indie artist. So I want to make sure that I'm not putting you in a position where you save all this money and you get strategy around the situation that won't even be relevant next month. Right? So how can we help you through each thing? And when you have one, there's a producer, he's dealing with a record deal that he's about to have a meeting for. We're able to get on that ASAP. There was a guy who had an investment situation going down. We were able to help him with that ASAP. People are Facebook ads and all those things. We can be dynamic around that. And as these situations pop up, we can help you get resources and information around that so you make the best decision as it comes.
And is it kind of like in a message board format? Like, how is the back end of Brandman Network work?
The back end of Brandman Network, the includes of a few primary spaces. The most important space is involving around courses and workshops, because that's where people are getting that information, and we guide you through process. I'm a results driven person. That was a part of another reason why I couldn't do the consultations. I had a whole conversation with like a homie, man, and he was like, I was like, yo, man, I'm not feeling these consultations because I don't feel like I'm helping people, because you tell them some stuff and then they, like, you don't know. You never see anything.
Did they apply it? Did they just disappear?
Right. So that helps do that in a guided format, because that space is about action. It's about progress. That's why we say run your race, sign yourself, like terms like that. It's everything is like move different. Everything is action based with me. So it's that courses and workshop space where we really focused on, of course, marketing and brand development as a few keys, but some other areas that are helpful for artists as well. Then we have a private viewing space where there are some videos, kind of like the YouTube space, but it's not the core, but there are some things that are there, and it's also it's based on some of the things that artists have requested to be there.
Got it.
And then we have the ability for them to schedule some meetings with us as well.
I think people are like probably watching this like, Ruslan, why are you going right into his network? You know what I'm saying? And this isn't a, what's that called? Affiliates. Like, I believe in investing in yourself as an artist. And I think putting aside $20 a month if you're an artist to be a part of a Brandman's network, or if you're a producer, to be a part of Curtis King's network, I think is a great way. That's a win-win for you to not spend $100 an hour to get consulting as an artist, and for them to say, hey, I'm going to scale and give you the tools, and there's going to be some direct one-on-one time, but it's not like it's not the. I think it's like a win-win for everybody. So I encourage people, like, invest in yourself. $20 a month is probably more than you spend on coffee and eating out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, less than you spend on coffee and eating out. Excuse me. So you talked about the YouTube thing. How did you get into making these like YouTube marketing videos? Like, how did that even come about?
Okay, so I was in a rest period, I would call it. So I have this festival that I would do in Atlanta at the time, and it was called Adventure Time ATL. Originally got evolved to Adventure ATL Fest because Adventure Time was close to Adventure Time, the actual TV show. Used some of those characters, all that stuff. So he had to switch that up real quick, right? But especially as it grew really quick, fast. But I was doing that, and that was only as a part of helping brand some artists around the city. A collective that I was helping out. And the artists go through those periods sometimes where they kind of chill on things. They don't know what they want to do creatively. They don't, or some of them are being lazy, whatever, right? And I was like, you know what? I haven't done anything like just around myself in a long time, like that I just want to do. Right?
You play more behind the scenes.
Yeah, I'm
like,
always.
Okay.
Yeah,
and then you're like, I need to step out and do something for me.
Not for me to be as a brand, but just like a personal project. I've always been like a super crafty, like art scene, doing like a lot of things. We can get into that later if necessary. But like, I like to construct things like that's and I did the marketing and branding videos really just for fun. It wasn't like a video channel. I was like, I'm gonna blow this up. I want to be a personal brand. If you look at my first videos, it's a PowerPoint slideshow. I'm not in it at all. It's horrible quality.
I gotta go back and look at some of these because when I found your videos, they were dope.
Like it's interesting. Really bad audio. People commenting, improve. I still get comments today where I'll see like someone say you need better audio quality, and then I'll look and it's like a video from years ago. Like, bro, like, you gotta like update yourself. But so it was kind of just for fun. Like, cause that's just my interest and my curiosity, and I had so many people asking me because they knew what I did and how I was helping people behind the scenes. They were asking me questions, and I was like, you know what? Let me make some videos that'll expedite this for me, so I can just send them a link. So someone asks me questions, and I'm like, oh, yep, answered it in this video. So I didn't have to spend that time. As I
do the same thing, bro. Guys DM me like dumb questions. I'm like, I made a video about that. Go look at it.
So it became cool, and then I had after I did, it was like 10 videos that I had in my mind. These were all like literally just some creative ideas that I wanted to get out, just random projects, and I have so many of these. This is just one that I happen to stay with over time. Like, one really started moving. The Fetty Wap video was my first video for those who really know my channel, but you can look up like Brandman Sean and Fetty Wap and you'll find it. And that video was my first video to go viral, but it didn't go viral until like 3 months into the channel. Right? Like, well, actually, viral at that time meant for me going from like 126 views over the first 3 months to all of a sudden going to like 10,000 views, right? Yep. And then and it's had its own like pushes every once in a while. You know how YouTube works, right? Sure. But yeah, that was how I even got into it. And all right, so this is kind of an insight to how I think. I always try to build systems that are insurance for my own BS. Okay. Right? So once I did about 10 videos, I said, you know what? And the way this is going and people really like it around me, like, you know what? I'm going to do this for a year and see how that goes. Okay. Right? And the year was very specific, and I say at least 2 videos a week. Yep. That was very specific because now I'm forcing myself to have those deadlines and to say I'm going to put it out regardless of the quality, because I can you know, just critique something forever.
So 3 months into the channel, then you say, okay, I'm going to do 2 videos for the year.
No, that was before I even started going viral. That was only like 2 months into the channel, basically. So I dropped my first video like right after Thanksgiving. And then basically January, I was like, you know what? See, that's also like a New Year starting thing. So it's easy to just say, I'm going to do it to the end of the year. Yeah. And then I'll decide then based on what I have. I'm like, if I have 1,000 followers, that'll be really cool. Right. And maybe I might continue it. I end up having like 23,000. And, you know, I guess it's kind of history from there. So
year one, you essentially grow to about 23,000 followers or 20,000 followers. Right.
So I can't remember if that was the exact full number. It might have been closer to 30, but I know I had about 23 probably around September. So I don't know what it was around that time. I just remember that was like for a reason where I really just registered. Oh shit, I only wanted to have like 1,000 people. Yeah.
And then you took a break. I remember you taking a break. Yeah. And then some of your friends started showing up on the channel. Why did you take that break?
Oh man, so
this is like I really just like I care, like this has nothing to do with what we're getting out, but like I'm just like why did he take a break?
Okay, so even though I was doing it for fun at first, when I decided to do it more so seriously and put those goals around it, my goal was honestly to just set a foundation of in some scenario in 5 years some kid comes up and he wants to get in the music industry. From a marketing standpoint, he can go to Brandman Sean's channel, get this baseline of information, and be good. So partially, I felt like I hit that point. Like, I'm not somebody who personally likes to be visible just for the sake of it. Like I never. That's just not my. I'm over behind the scenes. I have to have purpose if I'm out there and moving. Right. So that was one thing, and that was just a small part of really a lot of life. About 3 people passed January of 2018 within like 7-8 weeks. All completely different situations. Wow.
People, family close.
Yeah. So was dealing with that. I experienced anxiety for the first time ever. Right. So I was dealing with. I didn't even know what the hell that shit was. Honestly, having a label for it helped. Actually, I would remember going to interview Ryan Leslie, and I just had this crazy feeling before I even got on the plane to New York, and I didn't even know what that junk was. Right.
It's wild that how many people have anxiety and don't know what it feels like.
I didn't. Man, honestly, I've always been mostly growing up like emotions, like what are those? I didn't even fully understand. So even to deal with my own emotions around things, and partially was because that stuff with the people passing. I missed a funeral of one of them, which really was like killing me, man. And at the same time, I had this festival, Adventure ATL Fest, grew it to over 1,000 people, and it was 3 months away. We already had launched everything, and I was the key role.
The guy.
So I had zero time to process any of this. I had to like keep going because I had so many people relying on me.
Got it.
So it took about 3 months of really just I kind of all this stuff is happening. All this stuff is happening. Even some smaller other things that I'm not going to even mention. And then finally the festival happened, and I was just, and after the post event promo, I was like, all right, it's time to take that break. I had stopped creating YouTube videos, new YouTube videos before that, but I had made a few. Like I did a batch one time, so people couldn't tell. And eventually, though, I was like, you know what? I don't know, man. I don't know. I was honestly, I didn't know if I wanted to even do the music industry anymore. That's how like much of a like turning point in life I was, just because so much was going on, honestly. So I was, yeah, it was a lot going on. I was like, and I have this side tech background side of me too. So I was like, maybe I should just go do some tech stuff. But yeah, I was, so it was a lot that went into that. And so it's funny being a marketer, which I understand. People think of you in the way that they see you, right, and how you've been presented. So when I came back to my channel, all the things that, you know, I talk about, promote and things like that, some people actually thought it was like a little ploy to get, like, you know, like gone for a while, like, but back. And I was like, nah, man, yeah, not nowhere near it, nowhere near it.
It's interesting, and when you tell that story, how when you set to build a YouTube channel, a business, a career, that it's not linear. That people think like, oh, I'm gonna start YouTube and I'm gonna go to 1 million subscribers and everything's gonna be great. And it's like, nah, you can hit 30K first year, then something derails you and you start having a process and you're like, wait, let me hit pause. I got other stuff I'm doing. So those of you guys that are like trying to build stuff, like everything is not gonna be linear. My life hasn't been linear. Clearly your journey isn't linear. There's gonna be twists and turns and stuff like that. So I appreciate you sharing that, man. I didn't know it was that heavy.
Yeah, bro. I didn't talk about it at all on the channel. And a part of me coming back was, once again, I'm going to be in front of the camera. It's usually about purpose. And there were some things that I was like, you know what? There was a few things I said I didn't want to do. I wanted to do that I didn't. Like even around 200 followers of subscribers, I did a 200 subscriber video. And Brandman Network is basically a version of what I said that I wanted to do, and bringing other people on the channel. You asked, like, more people came on the channel. That was a version of what I wanted to do, because to me, I've always known enough about business where I know that charity stuff isn't sustainable, right? And that's what Brandman Network is a part of, and other people a part of, because one, I can't know everything. I don't want people to look at me as a guy to know everything. I'm not,
because that's easy to position yourself as like the music marketing guru, right?
Exactly. I'm not your savior, man. I want to help you. Honestly, I think of the videos as a way to give you multiple frameworks of thought. Right? Like I have a computer science background, so I think about frameworks a lot, and each of these frameworks are things that you can apply and think of in different ways as you make decisions to you, because there's no way I can tell you your exact situation and advice through the channel.
Because they're, again, macro ideas, and they're not absolutes, they're principles.
Even in, this is exactly what happened to this dude, and this is exactly, but it's not your situation, man.
I've always loved how you've broken down the early adapters with regards to Russ and SoundCloud, right? Because everybody's like, just put out a song a week and put out 100 of them, and you'll blow up like Russ did. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, well, the reason why it worked for us was because he was actually early to a little platform called SoundCloud. He was on in 2013, 2012, 2014. And so can you talk about just like that early, being an early adapter to a platform? Just break that down, because I've talked about it, but I got the idea from you, and I thought it was genius.
Okay. For one, so this is the thing, this is the way that all these tech companies think, right? They benefit from two major things, particularly, not all of the tech companies, but typically when we're talking about social media and things like that, right? Or websites, really. The amount of time you spend on the website, right? And because of that amount of time you spend on that website, we can monetize the attention. Right. So at the beginning of an app, right, like Instagram, people have to be on that app for people to actually enjoy that app. It's all about the best content, the best information that's going to keep people on there longer. So in the beginning, they incentivize dope content to spread virally. You literally have people who, like, even the Shade Room, I remember, I think the founder said that she dropped like one post on the Shade Room and got like 60,000 likes on it, her very first post. And this is not knowing anything about Instagram, not having some hacks, no guru stuff, just dropped, and that was somewhat normal for people early on to the platform. But what happens, so there's this thing called the network effect, right? And that's all about the utility of the actual platform. You can think about it this way. If it was 5 people on Facebook, right? It wouldn't be that useful. Right. But once it hits a certain threshold, the network effect kicks in because there's so many people on it. Right. Then now it's useful. The core use case of social media requires a certain amount of people to be on there so you can mimic society. Right. So once you hit that, then we can scale, and it's a lot less about getting people interested in the platform and things like that. We still want to do that, but we can scale and think about some other things. And then once we have a monopoly where all your friends are on there, you kind of have to go through us to just market your business. We're less about things that benefit you. We got you here now. Now we're like,
we're gonna monetize.
Now we're gonna
put the ads in front of you.
Now we're gonna suppress organic views and all that stuff. It's not like one button. It happens over time, right? And sometimes it's not even completely intentional from their perspective. Sometimes it's just some of those micro decisions that happen to make, and they, companies are in different. They're different parts of their business lifetime. And just a quick thing while I'm on this subject. What made Facebook work, right, and get to that utility quicker is a similar thing to what artists should do, right, in terms of that targeting of a demographic. Facebook was that way because it started in college. It started at Harvard.
What a niche,
so you quickly got a small amount of people all aware of this thing, and now we can see and we can talk about and be interested. Then spread it to other schools, right, and open up to them. And then once you get a certain threshold, now we can start opening up to other categories and things like that. And many apps have followed that blueprint from Facebook too.
Where do you see an opportunity for artists as a place that they could potentially press into and be early adapters in a space?
Ooh,
hit you with the good questions.
Let's say TikTok.
Okay, why?
TikTok has been around for a year under the name TikTok in the United States. So anybody listening from outside of that, y'all might, if you're in China, TikTok's been around longer. But TikTok merged with Musical.ly August 2018. Before that, I was telling people to get on Musical.ly. One of the big problems that people they didn't understand is, okay, yes, you don't see a lot of people talking about it, but that's probably because you're outside of the demographic. It started as a pretty young, like 15 and under almost, a lot of those kids that were on there, but they're starting to age up, right? You see somebody like Lil Nas X use the platform, right? And it's still cheap and underpriced, right? These are all the things that happen when you have a new platform, right? Easier, you get more attention for less. Everything's underpriced because people don't understand their value, or is the leverage in the business just isn't there on that platform yet, right? And it's still a year in, and people are smarter, quicker, right? Now influencers already know there's money can be made. Like they're thinking it's not like 2007 or something like that. However, you still have a lot of those elements here, and posting or doing something on TikTok today will not be the same as doing something on TikTok 4 months from now, 6 months from now. And and so on and so on.
What are your thoughts on IGTV? Do you think IGTV falls into that category because it's a new feature that it can be a space rappers could take advantage of?
Yeah, so I was big on that. I'm still relatively bullish on that because it's that exact same thing. So what I understood, literally, my sister was I was at her house, and I was just like, oh shit, and she was like, what? I was like, man, like I showed her my phone, and it was Instagram, and IGTV was on the timeline, right? I don't know if you remember, they switched over to that feature.
Yes.
But I'm so familiar of how the tech things work and just that lifetime in UX, where I was like, this is a game changer because
now the feature is valuable.
Exactly. Before it was a barrier of entry where you have to think about going. Now it just shows up, and then it's almost like a weird ad because once it hits a minute, keep watching, right? But that just makes it so organic, and instantly their view. I'm like, oh man, the traffic is going to come in, and looking into the articles and all that stuff, that has been true. I don't even think of it as a prediction. It's just understanding how the stuff works. So there is a lot of utility to it now, and it's still a blanker space. However, the one drawback that I've noticed is, one, they do allow you to get more. But it seems like they suppress views less on IGTV than they do on the news feed. They're still, you know, just nudging. It's all nudging because I'm gonna geek out a little bit, but not all the way. So I'll just say behavior, right? I'm huge on just behavior in general, and it's all about nudging, right? Like nudging, and we can get into product, whatever. But so they make these small things because if you try to make somebody make a big jump, they're gonna go to plane, but you can nudge them there all day, right? Like they say, you drop a frog in some hot water, it jumps out, but if you put it in cold water and slowly let it turn up, it doesn't leave.
That's a great marketing parallel for
and it's exactly the same with people. So IGTV has been going through that phase, but once again, like I said, in general, Instagram has kind of been suppressing things, and there's just, it's something about it. I think bigger artists moved onto it quicker, but there's something about it where I haven't seen it as great as a platform as I would have thought it would have been for, like, if I don't have anything at all. You still need to do those. My bad, man. You still need to do those other things in conjunction.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not something that you could do alone. Right. Right. But yeah, I still love IGTV.
That's good. I asked Wendy this earlier, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on someone. The niche that I'm in is Christian hip hop. You know what I mean, or faith-based hip hop, whatever you want to call it. As someone that you have a degree of familiarity, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. What are your thoughts on the Christian faith-based space from a marketing standpoint? Like, what advice do you have for Christians in hip hop? Because it can be a tightrope to walk. You know what I'm saying? And it could be a very interesting game to play, even with the comment I left on your Chance the Rapper video, you know what I mean, where you basically were like, it was incongruent to his brand, right. You know, and I was just like, I just didn't think he had any oversight on the album. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was too many songs and it was terribly mixed. Which we're going to interview my man AJ after this. We're going to talk about mixing, how important that is. So I just thought that it wasn't that his content was positive, too positive. But it was just that maybe it was a little bit fast of a change, you know? I don't even think it's that, but I just think he was poorly executed. So anyway, I say all that to say, like, what are your and you guys should go watch his video on Chance the Rapper. It's really good. What are your thoughts about just the Christian hip hop space and kind of, you know, you're familiar with Chance, you're familiar with Lecrae, familiar with kind of what I'm doing. What do you think?
Yeah, so one, I want to start by saying I definitely acknowledge the music part as well. Now it's both.
It was just poorly executed.
It's both. It's both. But his brand as a whole has been experiencing some incongruency. Okay. That was more the point of that video. Yeah. But as far as Christian hip hop, man, I am completely with what Wendy said. That's something I already tell Christian artists. The principles are the same, and people relate to those principles. And the reality is, people will love something that they hate and hate something that they love based on how you present it to them. It's all packaging, and Christianity is a package that isn't receptive to a lot of people, even if they like what's in the box.
That's good because of how it's packaged, or because of what it's associated with. Meaning, when someone says Christian rapper, right, a lot of people are like, ugh, that's corny, that's cheesy. Right?
All that's packaging
because of the history with it, right? So you're saying be a Christian rapper, but maybe don't package it as Christian rap. Is that kind of what you're getting at? Like, don't attach some of those labels to it, because that's a whole conversation.
That's why NF was fighting it so much, right? That label, right? Because when you lead with that, you're automatically turning off people, and you're literally molding how they perceive people. Headlines and newspapers, people receive that everything and every information after that based on that. They literally. You will get people to pay attention to certain points of articles based on headlines and miss other things, and then if you change the headline, it's been shown that people will pay attention to other things, right? And that's why people like Apple, right, who were innovated in their packaging, you know, it's kind of cool. It's more premium when you open the products, and it feels like an experience. Yes, because all of that stuff matters.
That's good. The second onion, right? You peel away the layers. We did a show in Dallas yesterday. At the Nasher Sculpture Center, and it was super dope, and it was outdoor. It was like 100 degrees. It was gross. It was outdoors. And we didn't go in there as the Christian hip hop rapper guys. Like we just went in there to do hip hop. It was hip hop night, and there's a lot of people, and it was super dope. And so I'm pretty open in my music, as well as Paul Russell is, about like my faith. I don't make like Jesus anthem, turn up Jesus. Like I don't make records like that. You know what I'm saying? But it's pretty clear what I'm about. You know what I'm saying? And but at the end of the night, I still would have people come up to me and be like, hey, like, are you a Christian? You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah. They're like, are you guys like a Christian band? And I'm like, I'm a Christian and I'm in a band, so sure, like whatever. You know, like like the label doesn't matter to me. But to your point, I've never led with that. But in a way, that's hurt because the Christian consumer wants a very neat package that says this is safe, this is Christian, this is not secular. But if you're saying I'm not a Christian rapper, but I'm a Christian, that gets confusing. We did an article with Huffington Post, and it was like Dream Junkies, dope Christian band, but don't call them Christian rappers. Literally with the art, and that was like a side off the record comment where we were like, can you just please not call this Christian rap? And that was what they led with. Of
course.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I freaking hate you guys. You know, this is like our biggest press we've gotten, Huffington Post. Like, oh my gosh. But like, what do you think about like that nuance? I know that's nuance, and I know that's kind of complicated, but like, what do you think about that? If I'm saying I'm a Christian and I love Jesus, and you're gonna hear that in my music, but I'm not going to put that in my bio. I'm not going to put that on my freaking website. I don't want to lead with that at shows. And then the Christian consumer saying, well, you're not Christian enough for us.
Well, a lot of that is nuance and just people being people, creating energy where it doesn't, because it shouldn't matter. I'll start with that, right? Because one, there are a lot of Christians that love secular music.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's be real about that, right? Yeah. So you don't even have to use that label, but for some reason, people who take certain routes and promo and start with certain crowds, let's just say you're starting with the church circuit and things like that, you get those expectations on you. Yeah. Because it's, once again, it's kind of the packaging, just how we talk about reputation precedes you. If you're starting in that environment, those people want to see you in that box and those rules and the things that are there. But those same people would like you over here without that, right? And they would still appreciate those elements for you. So really, it's where you place yourself, the placement, and what's around you. Like if you're at these type of concerts and you choose certain type of events over trying to build yourself in another side of things, right? Then people are automatically going to perceive you based on what they're experiencing around. So that's one part of it. And then, I don't know, even from a Christian perspective, right? Christianity did not exist before Jesus Christ walked the earth, right? So the message that Jesus was preaching was not a Christian message. It was from him, right? But it wasn't a message so much about follow him specifically. It was about those principles that he believed in, right? And as long as you're focusing on that, like, you know, he wasn't the one who created that label. So you are still doing your work by sharing that message, not worrying about the label. The people are the ones in that world that are pushing that on you.
That's dope. It almost sounds like you're saying market to Christians who like hip hop, but don't necessarily market to Christian hip hop fans, because then you have to then be attached to those expectations.
Exactly, and those Christian
that's such a hold on that, like, we got to sit there for a second, because that's such an epiphany to me that there are Christians who go to church and love Jesus, but they actually listen to non-Christian music.
Plenty.
And if they discovered you as a non-Christian rapper who is a Christian and makes hip hop music, that could actually win them over. And I think there's two examples of that. Is Toby. I don't know if you're familiar with Toby.
Nwegwe or something like that.
His last name, right? I just stopped.
Dope.
Super dope.
I'm surprised I even tried to say his last name.
Yeah. You say it better than I do. I just sound like
he's so dope.
Yeah. So Toby is one example, and then from the pop example is John Bellion. Or Bill, I always say his last name wrong too. Bellion. Anyway, John Bellion, who is a pop artist, but is unapologetically Christian and has a huge Christian base of Christian rap fans who don't care that he uses profanity or colors outside of whatever line that they don't want their Christian rappers to color outside of. So that's that's gold right there.
Yeah.
You can keep going. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Toby does that so well, man, that I didn't even know he was a Christian, or like that was, there's so many artists that are Christian, but I didn't even know that was something that he shared openly or that was a part of his brand until really being told. And then I started to notice some stuff and see certain content afterwards. But yeah, man, that's really a huge part of it, man. You have to realize that people are setting molds and you don't have to go by those molds.
Yep.
Those molds, most of these molds, man, they're built by marketers, not artists.
Yeah.
Right? Like the whole neo soul thing, right? That's a better way to package these artists.
Yes.
They benefited from that mold, even though they might, not associate themselves.
Yes.
But it makes it easier to give something to consume, right? Because one, of course, it helps you differentiate, but it also helps people label. That's just the way the human mind works.
Yep.
We have to organize and judge things. So now that we know what to call it, we can identify with it, right? And when we identify with it, we can wave the flag, tell people I love this and all that kind of stuff.
So my thought goes, I wonder who's actually benefiting from the Christian rapper label, the Christian hip hop community, or the CCM white evangelical churches and soccer moms that want to give their kids something safe to play. That's where my mind goes. And I don't think the Christian hip hop community benefits from the Christian rapper label. I think people, I don't say are appropriating that community, but they are the CCM, you know what I mean? So
Right.
Man,
Interesting.
that was really enlightening, bro. All right. I gotta think. I'm processing a lot. Sorry, man. I'm about to join the Brandman Network, yo. For real. That was good. Do you got any final thoughts? I mean, we could talk about this stuff for hours, but do you have any final thoughts in terms of just there's Christian rappers watching this, there's kids that aren't Christians that are watching this. They're trying to get things off the ground. And they watch some of your videos and they're just trying to figure out, like, what advice do you have for those dudes they're starting to get the ball rolling, they're making some cool music, but now they're looking at marketing and they're intimidated. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's outside of like, go join the Brandman Network, you know what I'm saying, which I think would be very helpful to them, but what advice do you have for them? Just one last kind of big idea.
Read 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing. Read 22 Immutable Laws of Branding. Okay. And then also understand the concept of product entry to market. So what that is most people struggle with trying to differentiate themselves. Most people are trying to differentiate themselves, actually, even though they're more alike. Okay. This is why when you're seeing not only Pizza Hut, then you're seeing Domino's, and we focus on this, and we have the only Chicago style pizza in town. We got the same New York style pizza in town, but it's all pizza, right? Everybody's trying to differentiate and talk about how different they are. A lot of artists, this is specifically for you guys who actually have something that's pretty daggone different, or you have a vision that's pretty different, right? Yep. Most times when people actually have that, they're using the behavior of someone trying to differentiate themselves, because that's where most people struggle. The reality is, when you do that, you're probably a huge leap, a quantum leap for those people behaviorally to actually accept you, right? It's just hard. It's not familiar enough. So what that looks like is finding things that are more familiar. Go meet people where they are, and then you can take people to where you want to take them. So.
Goodness gracious. All right, man. Hey, anything else? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Because that was hold on. Go meet people where they are, and then, is that what you said? Go and then try to take them.
Then you can take them where you want to, right? Right. You have to build their trust. You have to meet them. This is a Christian podcast. Jesus met people in the streets. Jesus wasn't in the church. Jesus was on the streets because the people who need to be saved weren't at church, right? You know what I mean? Or in those institutions. So let's use a visual example of somebody that everybody knows, and he's Christian too. Maybe a different version of Christian to some people, but Kanye, right? Kanye, he's done this multiple times in multiple ways, and this is why he does pop and product so well. He started as a backpack rapper. Samples, he loves samples, right? What do we know samples do? and make something more familiar.
Yeah, more nostalgic.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're meeting people where they are sonically, where they're already used to, right? And we see a lot of artists that are able to at least get one hit off of that, like off of samples. So he was able, we all know how much he understands samples. But then through projects, now he got you in the door. He changes, he evolves, and he'll present new things. But then you look at Yeezus, right, which a lot of people don't like. That was his biggest leap sonically, because you can try to say 808s and Heartbreaks was, but it was already some elements at play that was making people like that, like T-Pain's and things like that, right? That was the one. That's why you see people have the most negative feedback too, right? That's a jump from what people were used to.
Right.
So he's like a perfect use case for that, where he met people. Like if Yeezus came out before, like that was his first project or something similar to that, we're talking about a whole different story. But he met people right there, and now all the weird quote unquote stuff that people think, or the cool stuff, whatever, is cool because you believe in him, you trust him that it is cool. Yeah. But that was because he associated with you close enough first where he had that trust in you.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Brandman Sean. Man, I'm very grateful for you coming on here, bro. I'm going to link, obviously, all your stuff in the network. Yeah, that was dope, man. Thank you so much. Make sure you guys are following Brandman on YouTube, on Instagram. Your Instagram's actually pretty dope. I've been enjoying your bubble up there as well. And check out his Brandman network. Is, I mean, $20 a month. A lot of you guys that are wrestling with this, like get a little bit of that customizable mentoring that you probably need for where you're at. So thank you again, brother. Appreciate you.
No problem, man. Thank you.